All right, everybody, welcome to the Great Reset, day 14. I have world experts in breathing, Jared and Lau, with me today. I have been to their breathwork session, and let me just start by saying a lady had an orgasm. That's not what we're marketing here, but I say that just because it's so dramatic in terms of the wonderful effects that getting oxygen to your body and all of the other amazing things that breathwork does. So I will let you guys take it away. I think the first thing is that people want to know, what is breathwork?
Breathwork is just pretty much to sit for a moment, create some time so you can take deep conscious breaths. There are many types of breath work, there are different patterns, there are different styles, but the whole or the main objective is physically to get your cells full of oxygen, because we tend to not breathe normally. And if you read the book, you will understand, and you have a little bit more of an explanation that we just breathe in the chest. But the best way of breathing is filling up the belly with air. This is what is natural for the body. So breath.
I have to tell you, Lau, when I first moved here, we all have a collective yoga guru. She's incredible. And I had a revelation that I don't think I had actually taken a real breath in probably 20 years. She put her hands on my lower ribs in the back and was like, breathe into here. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even have that mental connection. So something you can try to just start, if you're going to just do slow conscious breathing, is to sit in a chair very straight up, and as you breathe in, filling the belly and actually filling the backside of the ribs, and then feeling it move up all the way to the clavicle. That's how big our breathing cage and lungs are.
Yeah, and it's one of these things that it's like a buzzword now, breath work, but it's definitely, as we all know, it's been something that, cultures for who knows how long understood the power of taking these breaths.
So if you were going to do a class, which everybody here is so lucky because they are going to do it for free in the group, but what's the science behind the way that you put together a class, and why the different types of breathing?
I think there are many elements in that. It will really take us a long time to cover all the details, but pretty much is for a breathwork session, hold space and to have a safe space where you can actually explore your inner emotions through breath as well, because we're gonna work not just hyperoxygenating the body, but also there's gonna be an emotional side of it. It's the physical and the emotional side that they're completely tied together. We cannot really separate one from the other. That's why this lady had an orgasm in one of the sessions. And also because a lot of emotions are held or are in our belly. So that safe space, creating time, make sure you have no interruptions. And when you do it by yourself is one thing, but when you have a group of people, the collective energy it's
Amazing.
bigger, stronger, and it's a little bit easier. It's a little bit of a different setting, but that doesn't mean you have to do it with other people. You can do it by yourself. Just make sure there's not going to be any interruptions. It's your me time.
Another big thing that's really important, we talk about our state a couple of days ago, of how our mental state will then cue the body to release different chemicals. So if we're breathing in our chest, now the brain is receiving a signal that, okay, there's stress. Okay, so I'm going to release some stress chemicals. There's some amazing studies as well. We won't go into it here, but how stress affects the body, we'll talk about later on. What the book talks about stress, how it affects our cells, so when we take breaths from the belly, it's sending signals to the mind that, oh, I'm calm and I'm relaxed. And if we're constantly in fight or flight, which is the sympathetic nervous system, we're fight or flight, oh my gosh. And we take these conscious breaths, this is just one of the ways, but we take a handful of conscious breaths deep in the belly, the body then can shift down into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is more calming and is more rest and digest. It can be either or. It can either be the brain that triggers it, or it can be the body that triggers it. It's because it's so so well connected, right?
Yeah, I talk a lot about that, getting out of fight or flight, because fascia reacts to, it could be the knee hurts and it tells the brain, and then the brain says protect, or the
Yeah.
brain can just say that's loosey goosey, protect. It is. So we could all argue about the communication system, but I think the thing that's so important is, like Joe Dispenza says, you can raise your body to a new mind. And what he means by that is that our mind we can consciously change our state of being. And then that changes the chemical signals that go to our bodies. And also fascia blasting does that. In the reverse, we're calming the tissue, which calms the mind. So all of these things really work together. But I would be willing to bet people that take a breathwork session, because I've seen the ones online where people are like, oh, and they're freaking out, but I get it. Somebody has literally been in fight or flight. There's a lot more talk about chronic states of stress and what that does to you. And that's the first time you're able to release all of that energy through breathwork. You can imagine why it would be so dramatic. So there's the scientific part of oxygen distribution. I read a study that freaked me out, that you can achieve the same amount of actual blood oxygenation through breathwork as you can a hyperbaric chamber. But there's also this huge component of what it can do from a neurochemical standpoint.
And two big things, just to maybe end with this, is when you do breath properly, you're increasing the pH in the body. So if our body's in an acidic state, there's disease. And also it reduces inflammation. The majority of you are here because you found Ashley because there's some sort of inflammation, there's some sort of chronic issue going on for a lot of you. So if you want to reduce inflammation, breath work is one that it's free, it's simple, and it's incredibly effective.
Drop the mic. All right, we'll see everybody back here for day 15 tomorrow. What are we serving up?
Starting week 3. Wow, 3 weeks have gone by already.
Wow.
It is a noise contamination.
Ooh, interesting. Day 15 is all about noise contamination, which is another great subject for Jared and Lau to take and run with, because they work with the opposite with their sound baths. So we'll see you guys back here for day 15. We'll dive a little bit into the science of frequencies, and I'm sure you guys are going to learn a lot from that. We'll see you there.
Ciao for now.